Florida is known for beaches, wetlands, and rapid growth, but hidden inside that landscape is an animal most people never see, yet it defines the state more than almost anything else. The Florida panther lives in the same state as nearly 23 million people, yet most residents will never see one in the wild. That contrast between extreme visibility and near invisibility is exactly where the story begins. That's exactly why it became Florida's state animal. To understand why the panther represents Florida, you have to look past popularity and into what the animal reveals about the land itself. First things first, what is the Florida panther? The Florida panther is a subspecies of cougar, the same large cat known elsewhere as a mountain lion or puma. Instead of navigating cliffs or mountains, this animal evolved to move through flooded forests, thick undergrowth, and low visibility terrain. Its long legs act like stilts in shallow water, and its muted coloring blends into shadows where light rarely reaches the ground. If mountain lions are built like climbers, the Florida panther is built like a ghost, designed not for height, but for concealment. That adaptation explains why it's so rarely seen, even where it still exists. Panthers are solitary, wide-ranging animals. One individual can require hundreds of square miles of territory to survive. That need for space is at the heart of the problem, and the reason the panther matters so much. Florida officially named the panther its state animal in 1982 by a vote of students throughout the state, at a time when the species was dangerously close to extinction. By the 1970s, only a few dozen panthers remained in the wild. By that point, the panther's range had collapsed to a small section of South Florida. What once stretched across the southeastern United States had been reduced to scattered patches of habitat surrounded by development. This wasn't an accident. Decades of hunting, land development, and road construction had pushed the panther into a shrinking corner of southern Florida. Choosing the panther was less like awarding a trophy and more like installing a warning sign. Florida was acknowledging that one of its most iconic native animals was disappearing, and that the future of the state's natural environment was at stake. The panther represents something deeper than strength or power. It represents space. Florida panthers don't survive in small fragments of wilderness. They need connected land, intact ecosystems, and room to move. When panthers struggle, it's usually a sign that the land itself is under pressure. In that way, the panther became a symbol of balance between growth and preservation, between development and restraint. Protecting the panther means protecting water systems, forests, wetlands, and countless other species that share the same habitat. The panther's biggest threat isn't predators. Today, the leading cause of panther deaths isn't disease or other animals. It's vehicles. Panthers don't recognize boundaries drawn on maps. They follow instinct, scent trails, and migration paths that existed long before pavement. When those paths intersect highways, the result is often fatal. In response, Florida began building wildlife crossings, underpasses, and corridors designed specifically to allow animals to move safely beneath roads. These crossings have reduced panther deaths significantly and have become a model for wildlife conservation across the country. The state animal didn't just become a symbol, it changed infrastructure. By the 1990s, the panther population was so small that inbreeding caused serious genetic problems, heart defects, low fertility, and physical abnormalities. Biologists made a controversial decision. introduce a small number of cougars from Texas to restore genetic diversity. The result was a measurable recovery. Today, there are roughly 120 to 230 Florida panthers in the wild, still endangered, but no longer collapsing. It's one of the clearest examples of how targeted conservation can reverse damage that once seemed permanent. Why didn't Florida choose a more obvious animal? Florida has no shortage of recognizable wildlife, but the panther was chosen because it depends on protection to exist. It can't survive without large connected landscapes. It can't adapt quickly to unchecked development. And once it's gone for good. That vulnerability is exactly what gives it meaning. It reflects the health of Florida's land, the cost of rapid expansion, and the responsibility that comes with growth.